Thursday, approximately 8:05 p.m. Welcome back to Beer and a Conversation, June 23rd, 2022. I'm Monk ATL. To my far right is host Laris Hodges.
And in the middle, we got the flower, Jasmine Jenkins.
Good evening.
Licensed therapist,
Yes.
to join us here on what I think will be a very explosive show about the mental health of black men in the U.S. I had a pretty good Father's Day, I think. You know, my daughter bought me, I think my daughter was being funny, right? I had, because, you know, I had pulled my hair back, so she bought me like a kimono.
You got a man bun?
Yeah, I got a kimono, I got fan. Like, you know, and I should have did it today, but I wanted to be serious.
She wanted you to be a geisha? For
I had no problem with it. I was going to come in here and be Tokyo Laris or Hibachi Bees. I was going to wear the kimono, I was going to have the fan, and I was going to do the chopsticks too.
And I'm so glad I got here early because I would have definitely intercepted that and said, no, my brother.
Right. I'll pick.
Friends don't let friends do shit like that.
You know, I'll pick which day I'm going to be crazy.
Why not, though? Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be crazy on a show where we talking about mental health. You know,
it's not even that, but you know, to express and appropriate someone else's culture when we're talking about the mental health of black men, I just feel like that aspect of it is in poor taste.
Don't worry, I'm gonna do it. I just wasn't gonna do it today.
Yeah, just don't do it. You know,
I get what you're saying.
it's like having a sombrero on, or like we have these weird attachments to things that are not necessarily native or indigenous to us.
When I told people I was going to do it, I said, you know, Japanese kids are wearing jabos. Why can't I look like them also?
You know who else has been wearing jabos for like 30 years? Everybody, because that's how long jabos been out. Like, I had some jabot when I was like in, 8th grade? I had no idea it was good.
Do you think that I'm showing my age?
We show our age daily when we wake up.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Okay. Yeah. So
he says your bows is why I went into that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, at any rate, came from a political meeting. I got into politics because I realized something. The pen is mightier than the sword, and I love the sword, but the pen is mightier than the sword. So, with that said, I have been doing some writing. I'm gonna go ahead and do the sonnet that I did for black men. Yes, a sonnet. Actually, it's like 2.57 sonnet when I did it, because sonnet's supposed to be 14. It's 36 lines.
Okay, so y'all can't see this legal pad, but there is not a space at all. So this was not,
I wrote this in the middle of the night. I've been doing a lot of reading and writing. I've expanded my mind. Right.
Look, I'm here for it, my brother. But all I'm saying is that I see only one space on that page.
But yeah, you didn't see the other page.
Did you have you practiced this, or is this like the first?
I did practice it.
Like, what kind of practice? Did you practice for an A or for a B?
I practiced for an A+ in the class. But I think that this is indicative, before we get into the show, about the mental health state of black men. I think it is very, very important for us to address some things that black men do have to go through. And I know that as I have carefully sat up and thought about this in my 40 years on this earth, that I have encompassed just about every struggle that black men have dealt with. Bear with me. It may get a little emotional at times. All right, so I came up with all these different ways that we get called nigga, right? You know what I mean? So, you don't want to fight, you a punk ass nigga. You stand up for yourself, you finna be a jumped ass nigga. You grew up in the shadow of your brother ass nigga, that mean you not an individual, you a cookie cutter ass nigga. You too intelligent, you a teacher's pet ass nigga. If you learn differently, you going to special ed ass nigga. You too dark, you a black ass nigga. You look like Prince, then you a light ass nigga. Your baby mom got a new man, now he's the daddy, you a surrogate ass nigga. You hold your head too high, you a arrogant ass nigga. You ain't got no sex stories in the locker room, you's a gay ass nigga. What you taking it up to A ass nigga? And don't be gay for real, because then you a dick and a booty ass nigga. Get from around me, you fruity ass nigga. Look how you dress, as you a joke ass nigga. You can't pay for lobster and steak, you a broke ass nigga. You got no money to party on Friday, you got to stay at home ass nigga. You got a woman, but you have a bad financial year or get sick and you an alone ass nigga. You ain't getting no hoes because you a capping ass nigga. You got too many women, you no good like your daddy ass nigga. You got a substance abuse issue and drink or get high ass nigga, and you go to Phipps Plaza, you might get shot trying to be a fly ass nigga. You said you love me, well that don't matter. Take these hits ass nigga, and I dare you to hit me back because I'm gonna call 12 and they gonna bring them sticks ass nigga. You got ADHD and you move around at night, that means you a cheating ass nigga. You a big boy and you fat, you a overeating ass nigga. You don't think the way that I do, that means you an insensitive ass nigga. Well, I guess I ain't got time for you. You gonna be a dismissed ass nigga. You look intimidating or you got that F, we ain't a hiring ass nigga. Now you gotta sell dope, you getting caught, you doing time ass nigga. Somebody you trust as a little boy trusts you, who you gonna tell I wish you would ass nigga? Now you done held it in too long and you a damaged good ass nigga. Text her your true feelings, you get left on red ass nigga. Make a false move at a routine traffic stop, you might be a dead ass nigga. Your best day on earth was the day you was birthed ass nigga. Your black ass want to be accepted in this society, you better be a perfect ass nigga.
Ooh.
Bruh.
Alright.
I give
Every black man that caught one, if not multiple.
I would give it at least 10.
Yeah. But I'm talking about from the time you was a baby, you was under attack. Life expectancy is still the lowest amongst us. And survival rate after birth or during birth is still the lowest amongst any subgroup. So, we are at your beck and call. We are here to listen to you, and you kind of tell us what we supposed to do. I want the brothers at home, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to know that the way that they feeling, the things that they go through, is something that is relevant to all of us, and it's okay for them to have feelings, and that's why we here today.
Well, let's start here. Let's go on a journey tonight.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
You brought up, I'm going to come back to this piece that you just did and ask you some questions about it. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that.
The journey starts at birth. You can have twins, a boy and a girl, 2 years of age. Both fall, both hurt themselves. The experience starts then. I'm hurt, I need support, I want coddling, I want to know I matter, someone cares and takes part in my pain. Little girl gets picked up, patted on the back, it's gonna be okay, we'll kiss your boo-boo. Same little boy, man up, big boys don't cry, get it together. He's given shame, she's given support. And then it continues. I'm not a black man, I can't describe the experience, but in my experience of what I've seen in my personal life, the men I've been around, who I look up to, and those that I see in my office, it starts there for you guys. As far as emotions go, you're taught the minute you feel something, it's not okay. Then if we continue going into adolescence with the same narrative, continue going into adulthood as a young man, same narrative. Become a father, same narrative. Get married, same narrative. Milestones, same narrative. And then a black man does something that we can't conceive as like, why would you do that? And then we shun him. But it's a buildup of a lot of things, and there's nowhere for it to go.
All right. I had wrote a piece about that earlier, talking about that what happens because of what you said, because we're taught certain things, there's a high level of suppression of things that we deal with, and then there's an eruption. And the eruption is just an explosion of expression that you've been carrying around. You know, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
I like to even say why. When it comes to emotions, we feel a variation and a myriad of things as humans. It's not gender specific. I think we know this tonight. But the explosion takes place more for men and then black men because anger is more of the normalized emotion for the man. It's the more safe emotion. You may get some confusion, some stares, some ridicule, but you may get some acceptance and some understanding when you guys emote and show emotions through anger and aggression. That's at very least the general acceptable emotion for you guys, for men. So that's just like me shaking up a Coke bottle and just keep shaking and shaking and shaking it, and then explodes. And it explodes a lot of times because that's the only way it can get out, and that's the only acceptable emotion, if that makes any sense.
Do you think that this is something that is conscious or subconscious?
Both. I would like to say more subconscious in a sense, because once you hear that explosion, there's a lack of control, a lack of intentionality of what you're doing, and you're just completely reacting at that moment. You're just feeling at an explosion. Your brain in the front is cut off, so it is completely unconscious. What are you thinking?
I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, when I was writing some of the things that I was writing, I had trouble. I had to stop at times and put the you know what I mean, put the pen down. And I was thinking about people who on the bus would get joned about, like it was their fault that their folks didn't have money and they had the bowl haircut. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like, if you had knockoff starter clothes or starter jackets, or you know, I seen people get mad. I mean, joning was all of this. Let me tell you something. Everything I'm talking about, I'm telling you that I saw as a black man. Mm-hmm. I saw it. Some stuff I actually experienced it. And I finally got to a place where I was just like, you know, this isn't right, man. Nobody can live under this type of duress, you know, not on a consistent basis. And it led me to, I had to go on a sabbatical. I had to take some time and I had to get away, and shit hurt. You go through some stuff and it hurt. Mm-hmm. And it hurt bad. And you don't even know, sometimes you get, but the worst part is that society will demonize you because of that. And, you know, I said something one time. I said, too often times the cause is overlooked, and it's the reaction that gets the discussion. Mm-hmm. And so, well, I mean, what do we do? I mean, are we just doomed? I mean, I'm doing what I can do politically to try to get some laws changed so that we, but it's so many people that don't have a clue. I'm talking to a politician, and black female politician, and she says we got to rid the streets of crime. And I'm like, do you know why 90% of men are locked up?
Locked up because there's no opportunities. They're locked up. There's no support. Our communities has no place for them to go and be constructive. Financial ruin, no opportunities. Crime sometimes it's just survival, and then they go put in a system just to continue and repeat.
I seen a guy. I had an extended stay recently at the Fulton County Inn off Wright Street, and and it was a guy in there who was arrested for verbal assault. I didn't even know that was a charge. Because he went into the hospital room. He got a call that his son was at the hospital. He goes and talks to the child's mother. And they get into a heated argument because he sees a knot on the kid's head. And the kid's tongue is white or something. He's like, what happened to him? And according to him, I wasn't there. Don't be coming in here blaming me about this, that, and the other. And then they get into a shouting match, and she gets louder, and before you know it, security's called, and they got to escort somebody out. You know what I'm saying? So the next question is, who gets escorted out? Well, not only escorted out, but in this particular case, he caught a man. Listen, let me tell you something. There's enough violent criminals really, truly, that's killed, man, go. I told somebody earlier, the most dangerous mall to go to ain't South DeKalb Mall, ain't Greenbrier Mall, it's Lenox Mall.
Why do you think that is? Really good point.
Because people that's going, if you gonna rob a bank, you got to rob a bank that got something in it.
Something about
You know, I mean, I'm just saying that. You understand what I'm saying? And now you got Buckhead wanting to annex from Atlanta because of resources, and it's just. But what I'm saying is that we got brothers locked up. Let me tell you something. I told the lady, I said, 18 years. Who you know got 18 years where they don't have one bad financial year? 18 years? You can't have one bad financial year? Now that's a lot of stress. 18 years? And because I asked her, I said, how you don't go 18 years without? She's like, I've gone plenty of years not being good financially. I said, we can't. Mm-hmm. If you got a child, you can't. And then it becomes a perpetual cycle. You could get locked up. If you don't get locked up, your license could be suspended. Now we got inadequate public transportation. So guess what? That means that you got to drive on a suspended license. You get pulled over, that could be an automatic 10 days in jail for driving on a suspended license. You lose your job. You got to start all over. Your self-confidence is destroyed. Yo, man, that's just a lot of pressure, man.
Speaking of pressure, let me ask you, we have men in the room. Do you feel okay
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do you feel okay telling anybody, a man, woman, whomever, that you're not okay? That I'm not okay?
Now,
saying no.
Now I do. I do now.
Okay.
I didn't before.
My response to this is going to be a little bit more complex. Because I noticed the difference when you focus on self, when you focus on your own self-awareness, that will kind of help you navigate and create that discernment of who you can be safe with, right? Mm-hmm. I think when you just haphazardly just expose yourself to people hoping for a positive result, oftentimes it really won't result in that. I think you have to be a lot more intentional about who you choose to confide in, which really more often than anything, it lends itself towards being more emotionally balanced, because a lot of times, that's really what it kind of stems from, right? Like an emotional outburst. But if you can refrain and really seek counsel, like a diverse set of counsel amongst all of your peers, because why else would they be your peers, right? It will create a safe space for you. Mm-hmm. What isn't provided, you have to be creative and create for yourself. You know what I mean? I don't think you should. I don't think it really should be any one person's burden to carry all of one person's burdens anyway. Like, it's always a learning experience.
I think going back to the start of that journey, where do we learn that we even set up culturally, spiritually, society-wise, in the home, that for men it's not okay to be okay? And you were mentioning, like, you have to have discernment to even say, hey, is this person safe for me to, if I'm hurting, I may be contemplating suicide, and if I tell the wrong person, that can make or break me. So part of kind of fixing this is just being okay with letting people know, like, dude, you're acting different. You switched up. I've noticed. I'm paying attention to you. Like, are you okay? And normalizing, even before somebody comes to you, just say, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. Part of that too, normalizing for women, we have a culture of that. I can call several people, men, women, professional, non-professional. Sometimes I can go up to a stranger because I'm a woman and maybe get more assistance than a black man. The minute he steps forward to anybody, it's a threat if they're a stranger. And you run the risk saying, brother, look, I'm having that one bad financial year right now, and it's got me, I don't know what. You run the risk of somebody saying, man, suck it up. Because you hear that from birth. Suck it up. You a punk. You'll put that, man, that's nothing. So what does that man do? Going back to that bottle and shaking it up? I just hold it in.
Right.
Hold it in.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard about this. It bothered me. I saw in the news a young man, McDonald's, his boss, he wasn't working. doing what he was supposed to do. Boss said, "Hey, clock out," like a boss is supposed to. Sums off. You're not productive. Clock out. His thought process: he want to grab his gun, shot her, killed her. Everything in social media on Instagram going in. It ain't that serious. Yes, it is. Because for me, how many things was going on and going wrong for that man to get to that point where it was his job and killing someone, and now you were so concerned about money. One bad financial year, that man may have been having that. Because all he focused on is, I can't lose his job. So distressed that it clouded his clarity and he made a bad decision. I'm not excusing him. We hold him accountable. He took a life. It's not right. But we have to look at how many times do we miss that opportunity to see somebody's hurting. Did that man have signs? So for depression, we know classic things. People isolate. People do certain things. But for men, it doesn't look typical. For a man, you may be cool all the time, and then all of a sudden you're snapping. You're angry. You're short. We look at the symptoms and judge and not look at, well, damn, he did say, his car got repossessed last week. Baby mama said that she not letting him see the kid. These things hurt people. They hurt men. Just like a mom, a woman, aunties, people not being able to have children and access to those kids that they love. We, for some reason, think that men don't care. There's some black men that can disconnect and they don't, but it's so many that hurt. Not being able to make enough money hurts. Then when you go back to, I've lived, let's just say as an adult, 18 years, done well, saved one circumstance out of my control, wiped it away, going back to that last line, your piece, I have to be a perfect ass nigga to survive. And you survive alone. Because everybody, mama, auntie, grandma, daddy, uncle, brother, cousin, sister, homegirl, my girl, won't let me express human emotions. So that's part of the issue. We don't normalize human emotions. Being angry, being depressed, being hopeless, being lost, feeling stuck. It's not a woman thing. It's not a weak thing. It's a human thing. Emotions, when we learn to master them, communicate to us. If I feel angry, I need to do something with that. Something's wrong. I need to decide what to do. If I'm feeling depressed, something I'm holding on to is hurting me. I need to maybe let it go. Or something is not turning out the way it needs to. That's communicating something. Sorrow, something. Grief, something. Trauma, something. But young boys grow up to be men that's never taught what to do with these emotions, how to feel these emotions, let alone control. But then you're expected to be perfect. You can have that one bad financial year, but you got to be damn near perfect at work.
That's right.
Your woman is suffering, but you can't even say, "Baby, I had a bad day." Well, what about? I'm letting you know, the bad day ain't even. I've been having a bad year, but I haven't told you. But I'm gonna tiptoe and just slide on in, checking to see if it's safe. Had a bad day today, nigga. What? All right, let me just go on back to that bottle and shake it back in, and I'll just keep holding on to it because there's no outlet. So my question to you guys. Let me just ask, what does self-care look like for a man?
I think you said a lot of good stuff, and then I'll unpack one and then I'll answer.
Okay.
I had lost my mind for a period of time, and I've always been a little. Get him a mic. Thank you. I had lost my mind for a period of time, and I think that I think that what happened was, while it was seen as a bad thing, the explosion I had, it did train me in a good way, because the outpouring of love that came behind that, sometimes it just helped a man to know that somebody else done gone through that already. You know what I mean? It's just, even if they can't help you or won't help you, somebody saying, "Man, let me tell you something. I done been there, and you're going to get through this." And when you know what I mean? When you get, one thing I learned about life, it's like a car breaking down. You know, your mind, your body. You let that car break down. Let it break down. And you throw the flashers on and you sit in there. You Georgia hero or somebody might come and help you. I'm going to tell you something. You get out of that car and you put it in neutral and start pushing it, and other people see you, but then everybody's like, oh, you know what I mean? And so for me, I stumbled on this. I didn't know this. Because somebody said, oh, something must have struck a nerve in him. You know what I mean? Because I'm a proud man. You know what I mean? I don't wanna look like a weakling or a failure. I sit on top of the food chain, man. I can't be slipping out here. You know what I mean? And I stumbled on it. And because I stumbled on it, now I know. It was more trial and error for me.
Sounds like you learned something. Instead of sitting in that car, if I get out that car and show folks I come in peace, I'm just trying to get my life together, push this car on off the road and get it to safety. For some reason, that causes other people to say, hey, I can stop.
But it was me erupting.
Yeah.
I didn't want to erupt. I didn't even know I was going to erupt. I didn't even know. You don't plan to erupt. Who gets up and says, today I'm going to erupt? You know what I mean?
Let me ask, was that eruption due to one thing or several?
At that, man, it was so many things, and it was just something. It was a needle, the straw that fell right there in the midst of there not being enough relief of the straws that had built up. You know what I'm saying? And the levees broke. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I walked away, man. I don't trust doctors. You know what I mean? I'm fighting everybody. You know what I mean? And I want you to keep this in mind. I want you to preface this. And I'm not saying I'm the only one, because there are many men like this. But additionally, I'm a man who doesn't have his mother. So let's remove that, which is a very strong piece of, you know what I mean? That nurturing there is key. You know what I mean? Because that can keep you in the midst of a lot of things. But what do you do when you ain't got that? You know? So, I mean, that's me. Monk, I'm sorry. I just, you know, and then my brother, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is it on?
You good, young man?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's a 3-part to me, and I'm trying to make it very
Introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. My name is Nick. I know I've been all over. This is my brother here. So, it's a 3-part to me, and one part I want to hit is the black family part of it. And the black family part of it is what you call the father, the grandfather part. And it's this, I struggle harder than you did. So when you say, hey, I'm not making it right now, the older guy come and say, well, I had to walk. I ain't have this. I ain't have that. Which making your struggle seem obsolete to what they had to go through. Which in turns, other cultures come and say, I walked so you can run. And I ran so you can fly. But we be like, I walk so you should walk. You should go through the same mud I went through. You should go through the same brick wall I went through to make you a man. But other cultures don't do that.
Nope.
They'll break down the wall so their sons can walk right through and have a brighter day.
And let me throw like a little wrench in there. I walk so you can walk too, but if you start riding, I'm upset.
Thank you.
So now you've never navigated the drive, but I'm driving and you can't even get in the car with me. You want the car to break down, be stuck on the side of the road, and then now you're back walking.
And it's relatability. Your car broke down, my car broke down too. But as a culture and just from a family standpoint, we should never want our sons, because we're speaking about black men right now, our sons' car to ever break down. And to, like you said, teach them how to maintain that car. Get the oil change right, get the tire rotate. That's what self-care, as you were stating, Bronze, is how to cleanse my mind, how to cleanse my spirit, how to cleanse stress off of me without having to go to different vices, how to self-care yourself. And that starts as a young age. But we put this stigmatism on our people that, hey, if you're not struggling, you're not going to become the man that I am. And now to become like dad or granddad or great as him, I must have to go through this stuff, and you're not supposed to. So that aspect of it is a culture thing in raising, right? And then the other part of it is the culture of peers. When you up, everybody know you up. Secretly, they looking to see when you're going to fail. So soon as you could be up 5 years doing great. Soon as you fail, you see they ain't got that truck no more.
Not
got that expensive house, now they can't live there no more.
Not what happened. Not can I help. Let me plug you on to someone else. I don't know what to do, but I know someone else has gone through this. Let's link. That's a different way of networking that we don't talk about.
Right, and I got friends in different cultures, and I think that's a very big thing for a young black man to experience, or black man in general, to have different friends in different cultures. So I have a friend that's in the Asian community, and what's crazy is he's transitioned a business, and he didn't have to go to a bank. He went to the community, and the community funded the ordeal. The community funded the ordeal. We cannot go to our community and fund the ordeal. We have to go to the banks that's not ran by us. So it's a culture thing of locking in arms and saying, oh, you falling? You got 5 of us putting hands on you. You ain't going nowhere. But we'll let somebody fall from grace and see, are you going to come back? How many of our athletes and our famous people that fell from grace, and then it's like, okay, who's the next one up? No. Help them get back there. But in other cultures, if they fall from grace, they're always able to get a redemption story because someone in that culture believes in them because they know their talents. We don't do that. And then I think the third part of it is, and this came from another culture that was talking to me, was putting people in your circle that's going where you're going and is at the level of intelligence and spiritual guidance as you are. Because even when it comes to dating, like you were saying, that woman may not understand him. Well, I had a guy, like, I had one white friends, one of my white friends was saying, well, you'll go into a grocery store and you'll see a fine girl behind the register and you'll holler. You say, what's up? Her mental is not the same as mine. And there's nothing wrong where she's at. But where I'm at, I need someone that's going to meet me where I'm at. Stop giving people chances to get inside your circle and your journey and your dream that was never even on the same wavelength. That's like reading a Harry Potter book and then going to talk to somebody who read Goosebumps. Right. It's two different genres, two different things.
You know what?
Not going to understand it.
You know what's interesting, brother? I had put a post up.
Very well said, brother.
Saying that while my circle is contracting, my network is expanding simultaneously. Because the more your circle contracts, the more you have time to get into endeavors that expand your network.
No, correct. Because everybody has an opinion. And I learned this through family. Everybody will have opinions and fears on why they couldn't do it. And they gonna come tell you, well, don't do that because it didn't work for you. Doesn't mean it didn't work for me. And he knows I've been through this where I had to cut off some of the most important people in my life opinions. I'm talking about closer than close, and say, hey, I can't listen to you. And the hardest thing to do as a black person is even your mother and father or your uncle or grandmama and say, you wasn't even an entrepreneur. Well, so I can't talk to you.
Well, and you know what? And the game changes, right? I mean, so one of the reasons why, and I'm a big Georgia fan, and I am a big Peyton Manning fan. So I hate Bill Belichick and I hate Nick Saban. However, respect is due. Forbes wrote an article in 2010 saying that the businesses that are going to make it in this economy are going to be the ones that can transition quickly and go with the change. Now, one thing about Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, as much as I hated their guts when Manning was playing the Patriots or when George was playing Nick Saban, is that they make adjustments at halftime. You cannot keep playing the same game
Expecting the same outcome.
You gotta make adjustments, and you do. And I said that one of the keys to success is, look, it don't mean that we can't reconcile down the road, but your energy, your wavelength, to your point, man, you fall, people cheer when you fall. You know what I mean? You know what pisses them off? If you get back up and start winning. You know what I mean? Because then it ain't no fluke no more. You know what I mean? And that's hard, man. You got to deal with that, man. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who's who no more, who really cares about you, who love you. That's a hard place to get to.
But I think all three of you guys said something important. You had to take your sabbatical. You had to take back and just get your mind in a good place. You had to cut people off. Same thing. And sometimes, to your point, everybody's point in this room, unattaching to the things that we're attached to that hurt us. Whether it's family, like let's normalize, like you said, if they've never done or they tried and it didn't work out, I can't keep being attached to you because you can't even help me figure it out. And it's okay to go on somewhere else, someone else's dad, someone else that has a business. Pull up on someone, hey, this is where I've been, or this is where I'm trying to go rather, and this, I don't know what I'm doing, and just take the risk. The worst thing they can take is no. It's the worst thing that they can do. But then when it comes back to emotions, the reasons we stay attached, the reasons we don't move, the reasons we keep listening and trying the same stuff, listening to the people that don't work, is an emotion, and that's fear. Not knowing how to navigate that. That's one of the kind of hardest emotions that we have, is fear. It brings on anxiety. What if I fail? What if I do fail and then I have to hear the naysayer say, I told you so? And then maneuvering and navigating. Black men, black boys, black teenagers, older men, it's just not normal to learn to even cope with emotions.
Right, and I'm going to hit another point, and I know this is going to strike a nerve. I'm going to hit something that's...
This is a certified safe space for men to speak tonight.
Okay.
And every Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Thank you there, brother. So the nerve is, we got to talk about the religion part of it. And there's different layers to that. One thing I had, and everybody's been there where you and your parents don't agree. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the sayings that is like manipulative so much is, you only have one mama. I remember we talked about it. You only have one dad. And they were like, so you gotta let whatever they done wrong to you go. And I countered with that. I said, well, it's only one me. The way you saying that is like they got a whole closet of me back there. Mm-hmm. Well, that version didn't work out. Let's go get the 2.0. And that version.
You don't matter. I'm going to go on back into the closet. I'm going to get the other.
I'm going to get the other Nick because this Nick ain't working. No, it's one of me too. And then they use the honor thy mother and father.
Oh, I was hoping you brought that up.
But they don't finish the statement.
The next part
of what parents do not provoke thy child. So, in that sense there, we use a lot of manipulation with the religion part of it to kind of make us feel docile when we're talking to our parents and to our family. Like, all of us been in a situation where we know a grown up in our family. Let's just say you're a family reunion, they're wrong. Mm-hmm. But if you speak back as a child, you automatically deem as disrespectful. How do you expect me to transition into society when someone's doing me wrong at work and I don't know how to communicate with them in a professional, calm manner because all my childhood I was silenced?
Mm-hmm.
Normally I'm not this quiet. You know this. I
know it's got to be the calm before the storm.
No. Actually, I mean, it's the calm, the consistent calm. But no. First of all, brother, I'm glad to have you here. So let me extend this. This is Nick. This is my little brother, man. I've known this gentleman for well over a decade. I've watched him grow into a successful entrepreneur, awesome family man, and my little brother. You know what I mean? Funny guy, great guy. So I wanted to have him here because I knew he would have some intellectual property, you know what I mean, that he would offer up for this show. So thank you again. Good to see you. You guys are just nailing so much, but I think, when you, now for us, we can always talk about, the various factors, these variables that have gone into, because you have a point, especially about the older generation. I realized that, if you were born in the 80s, and this is going to be a controversial take, right? But if you were born in the 80s, you are probably the best, like in the truest sense, the greatest generation. In the truest sense. And I know that may sound a little arrogant, but as I'm getting older and I have a mother, my father is no longer with me, and we are in opposite but still the same club. But you know what it's like when you have when you have an aging parent, right?
Correct.
When you have an aging parent who is also a boomer,
right? Correct.
All the things that this young man was just articulating, they really they really take shape, and you can actually see these things and how they're operating in your life in terms of how you can communicate. You know, because they're the generation. You know, they really now to an extent they did get us far, right? But there wasn't really a specificity on what to do with the actual talents. They still brought that rigidity and that religiosity, right, along with them that didn't really allow us to really do anything outside of you're going to go to college, right? If that was, and for the bulk of us, that's really what the trophy was for our generation,
right?
To be able to go to college. And I've been looking at this, right? For us to be, but when you go back and you say, well, how come we didn't have a discussion about what I was actually going to do in college?
Just go,
right?
Get there,
right? So the level. So the level of accountability, the resistance to therapy, I'm right, I told you the other day, and I think I told you, but I was actually assaulted by a 51-year-old woman who has yet to even acknowledge the fact that her behavior was not only atrocious, but it was highly disrespectful. And to me as a man, these are the things that we talk about. Like having to walk away from. Like, I mean, you walk away from something and then you walk right into a brick wall. Like literally, because there's no real space for you. And even when you can do everything right, I still have to provide counsel and guidance for my young brothers to say, even when you do everything right. Because when we talk, it's not like I feel like anyone is necessarily wrong. But I got to look at him because he's 6 feet tall and he's over 200 pounds. I got to give him advice that's going to keep him alive.
That's right.
I'm not negating the feelings. We can talk about the feelings, but I need you to make the right decision to not get in the crosshairs of anybody's weaponization, whether or not it be from their race, their gender, your emotions, because your emotions can be weaponized against you, right? So these are the things that we have to deal with. So when we have these constant traumas, I can't have one bad year out of 18 years. I have to take abuse from elders and female elders in the community who are using the fact that because I was born in the 80s, I ain't gonna haul off and, but some of these new younger Gen Zs, you don't really know. You know, they might pull back up on you. They don't care who you are. You know what I mean? So once again, my original statement was that being an 80s baby, I take pride in that. It's not that anyone's better or worse. It's just that with the advent of technology at the time when we came of age to where we are now, kind of being in the forefront of these things, we have to be a lot more mindful of just slowing down, because the technology is really what's going to make things a lot worse if we're not paying attention, because it's moving so fast. We're being bombarded by so many things. Self-care for me is taking a step back, resetting my dopamine levels, taking a step away from social media, trying to find a new skill, walk in the woods, lay out in the sun, you know what I mean? Take a walk. Like I walk my dog every morning at like between 6 and 7 a.m. That's what we look forward to doing.
Damn, how we that kindred? I don't have a dog, but I get up early in the morning and I sit on an acre of land.
Right.
Out there in Gwinnett.
We know you all the way out there in Dawsonville.
Well, Lilburn, but yeah.
Close enough.
And
I got to take a lunch.
And I sit out there in the morning and I watch the sun come up. I watch deer move through the yard. I watch cardinals fly around.
Right,
no TV. No TV. I get up in the morning, I write, I read, You know, I to your point. So yes, you have to unplug.
And
you know,
I know I was running off with that, but I mean, but my overall point is that you have to decide to, for example, I just had to bury my frat brother 2 weekends ago, my Neo, right? Remember I came, you know what I'm saying? Well, I did the show that week, and then after that I was kind of tapped out because I'm hurt by men in their 40s and their 30s. Dropping dead from heart attacks.
Can I speak on that?
Yes,
of
go.
course you can speak.
You the one.
One of the things I love, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've done therapy in a few places. I get a handful of men, whether they be white, black, Asian, handful. Definitely don't really see black men. My work is usually with women just by habit that they're more prone to go to therapy. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, one of the things I like to express to black men, you know how the narrative is in the medical field, men are prone to you said it earlier, our life expectancy, where y'all's life expectancy is lower. We're more prone
to like 62 or 63, something like that.
Heart disease, heart attack, stroke. And they tell us it's genetic. Y'all define who they is for y'all. But when you get down to it, all of that sometimes is controllable, and it's our habits, and it's what we've made normal to ourselves. Stress management not there. Again, we've already identified that sometimes it's just you just don't even have a place to go to talk about things. Men don't even know. It's still to be taught what coping skills look like, putting yourself first. And don't be a man with a child and or a woman, then you get pushed back all the way back and you work. So coping skills, self-care is taught. But the reason why all of these medical conditions come up is because men hold, bottle in emotions turn into energy. It is then turned physical, and it has to go somewhere via explosion, via I'm shutting down, via I'm hypersexual, because that's a release. I'm hypersexual. I just want to hit something all the time. I don't even care about the woman. Now that's creating another problem. She may fall in love, get attached. You just need to release it. You're not even conscious of that. You just intuitively know this is kind of what I need, unconsciously even. But then if you don't do any of that and you just continue to push, generations before the 80s, push, don't have anywhere to go, heart attack, heart disease, stroke.
So, thank you, because that like that's the zipper for a lot of this, right? You know what I mean? It kind of brings everything together, right? So, you guys, we have my brother Laris, my brother Nick, separately now together. We have been building and propagating this community of having open dialogue amongst ourselves, because essentially that's where the level of accountability really is. I can't be a better man if I'm not helping my brothers be better men. Mm-hmm. Because we can't do it alone. So when we have these conversations, you know, I go to the doctor all the time. I'm in really good health. So it broke my heart for my brother to die from a heart attack. And I'm like, you don't have to die from a heart attack. Like, you can drink water. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you can do if you see the value in it for yourself, which leads me to my final point with this. All of this is good, but if people don't want to help themselves, at the end of the day, you can care, but you gotta care from over there, because I can't get sucked into the whirlwind. And this is where the discernment comes in with helping people, because some people will cry for help, and they really just want attention. Mm-hmm. So discernment, you should look for accountability. You should look for initiative. So if someone says that they want help, we reach out to each other. If we don't hear from each other, we be like, yo, you good? We like men are organically building a network, right? It's not seen because we don't bloviate about it.
That's right.
We just do the work. So when you do the work, doing the work is not sexy at all. As a matter of fact, it should not even be, as Gil Scott, the late great Gil Scott Heron said, you know what I mean? The revolution will not be televised, you know what I mean? But the revolution the revolution will be definitely, it will be innovative, and we will use technology to our advantage, as opposed to something that is leading us. So men, dick control, number one,
That's
Huh?
big.
What? Huh? Y'all thought I wasn't gonna say it? Like this.
Hold on, I'm 42.
I know.
Yeah, so I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, you saying over to a young line. I'm 30. So hey.
And then when you get our age, you'll understand why. You have to have this,
because it saves you so much in the long run if you just say, hey, you know what? Just because I can don't mean I should.
Right.
But here's the thing too, because that's very important. But for some people, that's foreign. That has to be taught. That's still because if somebody doesn't even know how to handle their emotions and then they don't have the control.
That's a deeper conversation when you talking about the sexualization of stuff.
Right, which I understand. Right, I understand this. So as we transition into this age of Aquarius, right, like this age of understanding, like enlightenment, knowledge, like abundant knowledge. When you are in the forefront of a transition, the objective looks so far away. But when you just work one-on-one with people and you encounter and you have genuine encounters with people and you spread a little bit, it may not even happen in your livable lifetime. But we got to do the work, and that's why I say doing the work ain't sexy, because it doesn't look like you're getting results. But to be honest, I brought two people here that didn't know each other, and we all on one accord, like real talk.
Right. That's
so
right.
it happens. It's just all about the energy that you that you convey.
Go ahead, give us a final thought.
The final thought is a 3-part. I always do a 3-part, and I'll make sure it's sweet. The first one is we have to stop this putting these 18-year-olds as adults. And what I'm saying is this. Culturally, it was, again, talking to other cultures. We raise our kids to 18 and then we put them in the world, which is psychologically wrong, because if you do off a study, the human brain is not fully developed until you're 25. So the first time I used my brain at the full capacity to think of full thought was at 25 years old. That's why certain things you can't get done until you're 25. Even like insurance. You don't come off your parents' insurance until you 26, 25. So
I want to interject a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
Some of the science behind that, this part, the reptilian part of the brain, the instinct, just heartbeat stuff we don't think about, is formed. That's forms first.
Right.
The emotional part is formed by that time. That's everything. Our senses and how we perceive things through taste, thought, or visual, hearing, touch. The part that you're speaking of is where communication and streamlining it comes from. The part you're speaking of is where creating and putting narrative and thought into those other parts of the brain come from. And that's where we concentrate, and all of those critical thinking is there, it's equipped, but it's not formulated in full until around that age, to your point.
Yeah, and I'm glad you broke it down to what...
And if you can you do it in 30 seconds, Bob?
Yeah, I can do it in 30
Okay,
seconds.
go ahead. I'm not trying to rush you. I just know what we...
No, I got you. So to your point, you have that part of it. And then also, I think when you come to self-care is this. We got to get to a point where we just don't care. You got to get to a point where you don't care about other people or care about what other folks are thinking about you, because other people going to always have their opinion about it. When you can disattach from the society and what's going on and sit back and self-care yourself and cleanse your mind, that's where you can move forward. And like I said, I appreciate everything that's going on, because we all on one accord of saying that self-care, perseverance, and understanding where you're going is always going to be the difference. And there's going to be a transition in that. So.
Monk?
Hey, man, I love y'all, man. Known y'all for a real long time. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, man, just always, man, practice self-awareness. Work on that. Patience and grace when you move out here. Drive slow, move slow. Emote less. You can feel deeply, but you don't necessarily have to emote in a way that will make you vulnerable as black men out here in general. And East Point, smoke some dank.
To your point, I'm going to let her get to the final point. I'll be very quick. Nick, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your contributions. They were well accepted and appreciated, and I hope they're absorbed. To piggyback off your point, we care about people, but we can go back and reconnect later. We cannot help people until we arrive at a point of homeostasis ourselves. That's when we can go back and reach and help. And the most important thing is to get people to understand that what happens to black man is now impacting the white community in Buckhead. It's impacting the black woman. She has less men to choose from. It is, once everybody realizes that they got to protect us because our survival is their survival is somewhat predicated on ours. I think we'll do better. Go ahead and give us your final thought. Therapist Jasmine Jenkins.
This final thought. Doing the work isn't sexy, but doing the work in therapy does not have to be scary. We are people. We have personalities. We do so many things. If you like basketball, I may like basketball. That's a part of the therapy. I watch P-Valley with some clients.
Hey, that new season, I'm on episode 3, man. It's getting interesting.
That's a whole nother story.
Most definitely.
It's so many things that different therapists do. We bring who we are to therapy, and a lot of times we cultivate your treatment by who you are. And that may look like teaching nutrition, teaching sleep habits, teaching how to control your dick, teaching you about breaking patterns and where to go to ask for help if it's not one of us, or teaching you, well, who is in your life, can you test that out, and how does it look, and if not, let's come back to the drawing board. So therapy is not this concise thing. It's broad, it's fun, we laugh, we kiki, so try it out.
I'm going to put your info on my page. I think that we did a justice to the community, and I definitely think we're going to have a part 2. Probably something we're going to have to rotate in on a monthly or quarterly basis anyway. Check out Jasmine Jenkins, LPC therapist, and the company is CarolynTuckerTherapist.com. We out.